gosh, this is going to be a hard review. The Chosen Last Supper got a cinematic release earlier in the year, but sadly I wasn't able to see it. But now, this season, Season 5, is out on streaming, so I was finally able to catch it. Now, I was a latecomer to The Chosen. I only watched all of it last year, and I was so glad I did because, this show is amazing. It instantly became my favorite show. Now, it is not just a Christian show. It has made tidal waves around the world. It is amazing. Dallas Jenkins is so blessed for creating this show. It's more than just a show. It's a mission of spreading the gospel in the modern day. But Dallas Jenkins takes the approach of primarily creating a television show, creating good drama, quality filmmaking. And now that we're at Season 5, it is just amazing to see how far this show has come since Season 1. Last Supper is not just another season of the show. No, this season is so visually striking, so high stakes, so eventful. The cinematography has become much grander, and it's all so high tension. Even though I've read the Bible, I know what happens, but still I was feeling the tension. The Chosen is a dialogue heavy show, and throughout all the seasons, Dallas Jenkins has shown that he is a master of slow burning. And this season is set in the week leading up to Passover. And there's so much going on, so much tension because it's leading up to the most important climax in history, which is the crucifixion of Jesus, of course, which will be next season. These episodes cover so many events, so many characters, and so much dialogue. But with all of that, they found a genius way to structure this season. It's clear why they called the season Last Supper. The Last Supper is not just an important scene that happens somewhere in the show. No, they structured the Last Supper non-linearly throughout every episode. If they just played it out like a linear scene, it would have been very long and very boring. I'm still just so impressed at how big of an event they managed to make this season. Since this show is such a big ensemble, it's going to be hard to talk about the characters. I will say what I love most about the show is the characters. How they took all of the real people from the Bible and made them feel like genuine real people on screen. And the cast, they all just give such raw emotional performances. Jonathan Roumie is the best actor in the show. His performance as Jesus never ceases to amaze. What he embodies the most is Jesus' humanity, not just his divinity. And because this eventful season is the weeks leading up to his death, Jesus goes through so much in this season, so much emotional pain, so much stress. You see the toll that everything is taking on Jesus in Jonathan Roumie. Now, Jesus as a character in a show does not change because he is perfect. So all he does is react, but they always make his reactions interesting and deep. But even though Jesus is in such a hard place here, he still has his personality, his sense of humor. What was really compelling about this season is that there is so much conflict between the disciples and Jesus. The disciples still don't understand what Jesus is really talking about, what everything's really leading to. They don't really agree with what he does throughout the season, but they will still follow him. But out of all the disciples, John is the one who understands the most. Peter is always a standout. He's one of my favorite characters. And Mary Magdalene is also one of the followers that understands the most. And this season, she's on a bit of a mission. And I have to mention Judas. Judas has had so much build-up and conflict the last 2 seasons, but now it's all coming to a climax. Judas has so much spiritual and personal conflict, especially when he runs into his sister, but you understand why Judas is betraying Jesus. And as usual, you absolutely hate those Pharisees. But I was relieved to see that Nicodemus finally returned. This season also really tied in the whole history of the show. Pilate at first I thought was a bit of a weird character, but now this season, seeing what the toll that everything's taking on him and his wife, I was more invested with Pontius. The season also made use of a lot of flashbacks to give the characters more history. It was very relieving that little James and Thaddeus finally got some backstory. The show's attention to detail is also really good. There are so many examples of this, but one example is Atticus giving Z 2 swords, which John and Peter take, but that will not come into play until Season 6. And also just the detail in the production design of Jerusalem, it's just great. There are so many standout scenes in this season, like the Last Supper, Jesus turning over the tables in the temple, Jesus' farewell to the women, Jesus wanting Judas's heart, and then Judas's betrayal, and most of all, the Garden of Gethsemane scene, where all of Jesus' fear and emotion comes out, praying to his Father that if you will it, let this cup pass from me. In this scene, it was such a visual sequence. Never would have expected the show to do this, but it was beautiful how it did it. God showing Jesus so many different visions, scenarios that are all telling him, it needs to be done, this cup cannot be passed from you. And of course, Jesus accepts. And they couldn't have ended the season in a better way, in a more tense way. The Chosen Last Supper really is the best season. I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. But now we have to wait until 2027 for Season 6. So, what did you think of The Chosen Season 5, Last Supper? What were your favourite scenes? What's your favourite season? Who are your favourite characters? Let me know in the comments below, and may the Force be with you.